Hi friends, it's Nirmal from Nandanam Exotics, and today we are going to do a tray garden using moss and some natural stuffs. I'm trying to create a small piece of nature in a tray. So let's see what happens and stay tuned. It's Kerala monsoon season and it's very wet, humid and hot here. So everywhere you look you'll see a lot of moss. So it's very easy to source moss right now, and I thought this is the best time to do this video. Friends, before we get into the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also be a part of the journey by pressing the bell notification button so that whenever I post a new video you'll be notified. So now let us get into the video. For this project we have to first of all select a container that is shallow and tray like, so that we can arrange the moss in such a way that it mimics a piece of nature. Here I am going to use this bonsai pot that I made from cement or concrete. I'll be showing you guys how I did this, but first of all we'll just check out how big this pot is. It's just an inch high with a 1/4 inch planting area. So as I said, I made the pot myself. I used this plastic containers that you're seeing right now as the mold to make the cement pot. It is pretty easy. So from this footage you can easily understand how I made the pot using the plastic containers. It's very common, and this is a very common way of making DIY pots these days. So once you have selected or made your pot for the project, next we have to sand it down so that you have a smoother edge. I have already pre-sanded my pot. Now I am starting to paint my pot with oil paint or enamel. I have chosen white color because it will contrast really good with the green moss that I'm gonna use for the project. I have chosen oil paint because it has higher durability in outdoor situations. So after 2 coats of paint, the pot looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it outside for a day so that it will dry nicely. So once the pot is dry and the paint has set properly, we'll take a look at what all requirements we have for this project. This is some freshly collected moss from my locality. I also picked up some laterite stones that already had moss established on it. Next we need a piece of fabric or net for the bottom. Now the required amount of media that we prepare for this, and you should also have some smaller piece of moss of different variety collected from different areas. Finally you need a sprayer to gently water the system once you're done. So guys, that's all we need for this project right now. Let's get started. So the pot has been drying for a day right now, and the paint has completely cured. I didn't paint the back or the bottom portion of the pot because it's anyways gonna be exposed to moisture. We'll start off by covering the drainage hole with a piece of mosquito mesh or any other fabric that you're using. This will prevent the medium from sweeping out of the pot whenever you water it. Just so that we are sure, I'm going to put an extra layer of coconut fiber just above the drainage hole so that smaller parts of the media won't go through. Now let's start filling the pot with the medium that we have prepared. I have shown the recipe for this particular medium used for growing moss in my mossarium video. You can check it out in the notification or in the description below. I'll also leave the recipe in the corner of the screen so you can refer it over there as well. Now make sure to press the medium down and make it really firm, avoiding any air gaps in the medium. Always try to start off such projects with dry medium so that you won't make a mess. Once you have leveled out the medium in the pot, now you can start arranging the moss filled rocks, or in your case whatever hardscaping materials you're using for this design. So rocks or small pieces of bark or whatever you're using, you can use all those hardscaping materials and start building up a design. I haven't pre-planned any design in my head. I'm just going with the flow and seeing how things look when I put it in certain ways. So you can also do the same and find some combinations or arrangement that looks pretty natural and beautiful. So here I have arranged the rocks in certain ways which makes me feel like it's a natural formation, something that you can see in nature. So it's totally depending on your creativity and how well you observe nature. Always plant the rocks firmly to the medium so that they stay put. Also, feel free to move around something that you have already kept and find a good arrangement that looks beautiful according to your aesthetics. Once you feel like you achieved a desirable layout or design, you can then proceed to watering the system using a sprayer. I'm using a sprayer because it is much more gentle and will not dislodge a lot of medium and make a mess. The reason why we watered this right now is to make the soil and the surface more sticky, so that when we use live moss, the moss will easily stick or attach to the medium. So now we are going to start designing or filling the gaps with live moss that we collected earlier. Always be sure to collect different types of moss from different light or locations in your area, so that you'll have a variation of texture and pattern in the design. This part of the process is completely dependent upon your creativity and how you perceive nature. I am reminding you guys again that always collect different types of moss and combine them in different combinations to get much more natural look. If you use the same type of moss in the design, it could look a little bit artificial. So friends, as you can see, I have finished applying the moss to every nook and corner of this particular setup. I am pretty happy with the way it turned out. You can see the variation of texture and pattern because of the different moss that I have collected. I know all of you might not have access to a lot of moss, but do the best you can in finding different types of moss when you go for a project like this. The key factor to achieve success while making or mimicking nature is to put a lot of attention into the finest detail. So every inch of this layout should be designed with a lot of care and attention. So once you're done with the project, give it a good watering using a spray can, or you can even pour water on some of the rocks and saturate the medium completely. Let the extra water drain off through the drainage hole. Be sure to water the system on a daily basis because moss cannot handle dryness and can easily deteriorate. So always keep the system wet and humid. If you're planning to keep this setup inside your house, be sure to place it near a bright window where it gets bright light throughout the day. Also, keep it a place where there is ample amount of airflow so that there won't be any mold buildup. So friends, today's video was about moss and how you can make a small piece of nature in a tray. I need to know what you guys think about this. Do you like it or not? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, it's Nirmal signing off.